Good morning, fellow Nigerians. This is Dr. Omar Milawa. In recent times, I have been speaking in my indigenous language, which is Yoruba. But tonight, you're going to indulge me, and I'm going to have the privilege to speak to the entirety of Nigerians in English, because it looks like that's our lingua franca. I couldn't talk in Igbo. I can't speak in Hausa or any other indigenous language except English. So you have to pardon and allow me to speak in English. Once again, I say welcome, welcome. My people, the reason why I'm speaking English tonight is because I want this message to get to everybody. The stakeholders, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his cabinet, the politicians, our obas in all the states, that is in all the regions. We have obas in the Yoruba land, the Igbo land, the emirs, and what have you in other extraction of the country. Because you and I know that Nigeria is not a nation, it's a conglomerate of nations. Yoruba is a race. The Igbos, they are also a race. The Hausas is a race. The Edos, they're also a race. And all the extractions in that country. This morning is 1 a.m., 20 minutes past 1 a.m., so it's in the morning, very early in the morning. But my soul couldn't rest, so I decided to come out and say what God has put in my heart. The massive nationwide rally that is going to start within the next 24 hours, so to speak, has brought so much rancor, agitation, murmuring and discussing, analyzing, gesticulating, and all the rest of that. But I'm surprised that in a nation that we claim to be a democratic country, one of the fundamental human rights is being subjugated by the power that be. And what that means is that the so-called government that is supposed to infuse the confidence in people, encourage them to speak out their minds, to lend their opinions on what is going on in the country, is the same government that is having his own rally, his own protest against people who want to rally or protest in a nation that nothing, and I mean that, where nothing is absolutely working. And I'm going to start with our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. President Tinubu, I'm glad that you had once been in this country called America. You lived in Chicago, from what I heard. I probably wasn't here when you were here, because I'm much, much younger than you are. President Tinubu, you're supposed to be democratically elected. You know the rules of the game. Now, when people want to protest, it's not because they hate you. They may not agree with the way you do things, but it's not directly at you, but at the system that is not working for them. And you all can attest to it, including you. You said you inherited a bankrupt government from Buhari. And if you believe so, when people now gather together, democratically or otherwise, to bring out a rally, you should allow them. It is your responsibility as the head of the government, as the number one citizen of Nigeria, to ensure that the security apparatus is in place to safeguard the safety of these protestants or protesters or those that are willing to rally. It is their fundamental right, President Tinubu. And you know that. You have lived in this country called America. And if you say you are bringing a change to people that are not satisfied with what is going on in that environment called Nigeria, I think you should allow them to do that. But what do we see, President Tinubu? With all due respect, you might have a good intention or good intentions to make things work in Nigeria. But the way you are going about it is wrong, sir. It is wrong. What I see is that with 6-point-something billion, you are trying to shut the mouth of people who will willingly have come out to rally, to protest about lack of security, probably no good roads, no light, electricity, no jobs for the children who are graduates, and number one is no security. President Tinubu, I do not dislike you, but I dislike what you stand for. That is, your actions, your policies, some of them are not humane. For this particular nationwide rally or protest, I would have expected you as a president to have come out within the last 1 month. When the posters are out there, when the people are making their voices known that they are hungry, they are tired, they have no job, they are not safe, to have come out and address a situation like that. When President Obama in America had that a young boy, Trayvon or whatever his name was at that time, was accidentally killed by a policeman, the president, this boy was not the son of a rich man or a politician or anybody in society that you might reckon with and say, oh, that's why he's talking. He was just an ordinary American boy, and he was mistakenly or somehow inadvertently killed as a result of one thing or the other. President Obama came out to address the situation. Just one boy. Not a city, not a group of people. Just one boy. President Tinubu. And here you are with over 4 or 5 millions of people all over the country crying, shouting, mourning that they are hungry. We are all calling your attention to the herdsmen killing the farmers. Already in that country called Nigeria, the Boko Harams have abducted school children. They have raped them, turned them into Muslim harems. 49,256 had been noted on record to have been killed by Boko Harams, the Boko Haram insurgents. We have individuals like Sheikh Gumi negotiating in a country that we're supposed to be democratically sane. Negotiating for these people, for the insurgents, for the Boko Haram, the ISWAT. And money has been paid. Not once, not twice. Maybe not by you, but it has been paid once before or twice by the past administration of Buhari. And you knew all this, President Tinubu. You knew all this because you were the one allegedly spent 35 billion to bring President Buhari to power for 8 years. And during those 8 years, you were in this country President Tinubu, and you saw everything that this man did to Nigerians, especially to those extractions that are not Fulani. The Fulanis seems to have become a thin god in Nigeria. And you know that. And it looks to me that, I hate to use the word, but that is the way I see it. It looks like you have sold your soul to be in power, to continue to reign, because you are all afraid of these Fulanis. President Tinubu, you have elected people, appointed people into your cabinet that their character are shady, people with no integrity, people the whole country know as rogues, thieves, and things like that. And you want to bring a new change. How can you bring a change with people that have no integrity? People that can sell their souls to you because they want the position. Allegedly, the Senate president is known to have embezzled millions of naira. Bajabia Mila, the same thing. I don't know about the Wale Aduns because they were in private. I don't know about Cardoso. But these are the people that could not tell their truth to power. Maybe they were even advising you rightly, but you are not taking their advices. All the advice they were giving you, I don't know if you are implementing them. But what I've seen so far is like you have people working for you that were telling you what you want to hear. First and foremost, in the southwestern area, President Tinubu, you have heard how the elders, I don't know what you even want to call them. I don't want to call them elders. I want to call them terrorists because they go into other people's domain, to the farmers' domain, use their cows to eat the vegetation of these farmers, rape their wives, kill their husbands, and nothing is done. That has been going on in the last 9 years. But I thought when you get there, democratically elected individual, a smart man, supposedly you have integrity, you have been a governor for 8 years, you should know what administration is all about. And you should know that if we actually have one Nigeria where the Fulani is not empowered over any other extraction in Nigeria, justice must be done. Since the Fulanis have been killing in the southwest, what have you done within the last 1 year? I don't know how many farmers, wives, children have been kidnapped with millions and millions of naira paid in ransom. The ones that are caught, taken to police station, they are released within 2 hours. As a matter of fact, the people that challenged them or took them to the police station are detained for 3 months. Mr. President, this is an opportunity for you. At your age, you should not mind what people will say about you. You should mind what God is going to say about you. Because as long as you are still alive now, you have an opportunity to leave a legacy that people can talk about that will make you sleep well in that grave. Right now, what you're doing in that country is not palatable for anybody. And the people are not singing a song praise of you. You are being recriminated. I know you don't care about getting praises or validation, but have you forgotten that you are not working for just Nigerians? The Almighty God that created you is also watching what you are doing. And a day is coming, Mr. President, when it is going to be only you and your God. Are you going to tell them that you allow the Fulanis to get away with blue mother, where you can prosecute somebody that stole 15,000 and put in jail for 15 years. And you will leave those that has ruined the whole state. People like Akpabio. Nobody has done anything. The legislators, those that make the laws, what laws are they making for this country, Mr. President? The law to increase their own remuneration, their paychecks, their salaries, their benefits, while common Nigeria cannot survive on the so-called 70,000 that you have approved for them. Do your children, Mr. President, live on 60,000 a month, or 70,000, or 100,000, or 500,000? We heard that your son Sheyi bought a home in London for 11 million. Where does the 40-year-old boy, man, acquire that kind of money? But because you're the president, you're his father. Your daughter, Sade, was given the position of Yalaje of Lagos. And I understand that the volume of money that comes in is about $1 billion a year. Your daughter, what is she selling? What is her capability? But because she's your daughter. If that is not nepotism, I don't know what is. And I found out that in your cabinet, you put people there, not because they are qualified or expert, but people that will do your bidding. Is that democracy? Is that what you have learned in America or some other nations of the world? Can you not see that these kind of administrative loopholes and degeneracies are what is dragging that country, Nigeria, down the precipice? I don't know why you think that it doesn't matter what people say. It matters. Because at the end of the day, it is the people that will judge your administration. Good or bad, peaceful or not. You know that rally or protest is a fundamental human right. You have already protested in the past. Dandeko, and then the recent one that you did with Jonathan, Ebele Jonathan, the former president. You came out boldly. Yeah, it is good because that is a right that you wanted to exercise. But when it came to your turn now, you are bribing all the bribables, all the stakeholders, starting from our obas, to the legislators, to the youth, to the clerics. I don't know who else you want to bribe. The only person that is not bribable for you in Nigeria is God. Because God is not a man that is going to lie. And God is not a man that he will repent. He has given you this platform. He has put you on this throne for a while. And that while is only 8 years. That's the maximum. You are going to leave that place one day. But before you leave, what do you want your heritage to be? What do you want posterity to say about you, President Tinubu? I'm not even indicting you. But have you ever sat to reflect on your actions and inactions, your silence and your words? And how it resonates in the heart of people? It appears as if you yourself, sir, have sold your soul for fame, for money, circle of influence, for wealth. Is any of this going with you, sir, to your grave? No. You are taking nothing, sir, but your good deeds, the thoughts of your heart, your actions that benefited people you are ruling. That's all you're going to take with you. The late sage, Obafemi Awolowo, may not be perfect, but everybody knew Even the British colonialists knew that he was a man of principle. It may be too hard for some people to get along with him, but he was a man of principle. Are you principled, sir? Your principle is that you will not beg anybody, you will not appeal to anybody, you will not empathize with anybody. Everybody can go to hell if they don't like you. Sir, it doesn't work well like that in the world. You are not an island, sir. You are not listening. And if you are listening, you don't give a crap. And what is going on right now in Nigeria is injustice. Injustice to one person or one state or one people is an injustice to everybody. Mr. President, I understand Bodejo, a Fulani Mayeti, he has his own army. He has killed, only God knows how many people he has killed with ransom. And when he was apprehended and taken to jail, he was supposed to be prosecuted. But the Fulani cabals, or whoever you want to call them, they asked you to lead this man. And you left him without any condition. Sir, if you are just, if you have a heart for righteousness, for faithfulness, why can't you release Nnamdi? Tell Nigeria what Nnamdi has done as a man with conscience. What has he done that Bodejo has not done? And yet you are still remanding this man in custody, even though you are not the one that put him there. But for a man who wants to redress situations in a country that you are governing, you need to have addressed the situation in the last 1 year. Again, Mr. Igboho, Adeyemi Igboho, came out. He came out as a result of incessant killing by Fulani orders. Killing people in Igogo, in Oyo, in Ondo, and they have brought it even to Lagos, your domain. He only spoke that Fulanis must go back, must leave the forest, the Yoruba forest. Yes. I don't think any Yoruba will have the audacity, the impunity, the guts to go to Zamfara, to go to Gombe, to go to Kaduna or Kano and start killing. And the Fulanis are killing in Southwest. And there will not be a repressal. But since the Fulanis have been killing in Southwest, not one of them have been brought to justice. And here you are, asking Igboho. I don't know whether you are part of it, but it was an allegation that you knew how Igboho got arrested and all the rest of that. This same man was in exile for over 2 years. When he was released, we found out that he's now in Germany. Is Bodejo outside the country? Bodejo is not just a Miyeti. He's a criminal. He is a criminal, whether you believe it or not. But what I've understood is that you are all afraid of the Fulanis. From the legislator down to the councilman. You are all afraid. You can't talk anything against them because you have put them on a pedestal like they are mini gods. And then you treat all other extraction in that country as if they are third class or fourth class citizens. Fulani are claiming that their cows have the same right that we citizens of Nigeria have. In other words, they're going to use their cows to go anywhere to destroy anything without any reprisal. And you are the president. And there are laws in Nigeria. Are there really laws? Are they being implemented? Tonight it's not about bashing. Tonight is introspection. I want you to reflect Even if you don't want to reflect in the last 30, 40 years, what has been happening within the last 8 years or 9 years, and see how it affects not only your household, because your household are not suffering, Mr. President. Sheyi is not suffering. I don't know whether he's a graduate or not, but Sheyi is not living on 100,000 a month. Fola Shade Ojo is not living on 200,000 a month. Your wife, as the wife of the president, is not living in a house of 60,000 a month. And as a president, people may not live in mansion or glass house like you, but they must be able to live in a place where there is security, where there is safety. There is no safety or security in Nigeria. Any person, any personality can be abducted, kidnapped, or killed, and nothing will happen. The Boko Harams, the insurgents, the ISWAT have more sophisticated, state-of-the-art arsenal than Nigerian military or security agencies. And you are the president. You are trying to do the best you can. But immediately you came in, knowing fully well that there is no refinery in Nigeria, you remove the subsidy. Yeah, it might be a bold step. But did you have a refinery first? Did you think about that first? People were saying you have only had 13 months. But you won the election few months before you came on board. Were you not thinking, what were you and your team thinking about? Or if you didn't know that you were going to win, what were your thoughts that if you actually become the president, don't you have any portfolio that you have already knew you might be instituting in Nigeria? But when you came, the first thing that you did was to bribe the legislators with 160 million worth of cars individually. Is that for them to support you? If they are democratically elected, shouldn't they do their job? Do you have to bribe them? But that was what you did. You bribed them. And because you bribed them, they turned the other eye. They bought you new aeroplane. They approved the purchase of your yacht. I don't know why you will need a yacht in an economy that people cannot afford 2 square miles, Mr. President. You had a yacht. They spend millions upon millions to renovate where you're going to live. Is the house being rebuilt? Even if you're going to change the furniture, by the time you use 1 to 2 million, there should be a furniture there. A good one. But you are giving this as a contract, as if it's a booty. And you don't even have any recourse to think that there are millions of international organizations that you're borrowing from. We are borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. Where do you expect Nigeria that is is it monoculture? We have only oil. And who owns the oil? The Fulanis. The South that owns it. They're not even enjoying it. You have bastardized the state. So you allow the Fulanis to have all the oil wells where the people that God gave that asset to, that resource to, they're not even enjoying it. And you are not ready to adjust anything. You just want to go with the flow dictated by the Fulanis. Legislators, it is a damn shame that you call yourself the law of the country. You are supposed to be giving the law, pronouncing the law. But what laws have you made? Except to sign on the dotted line all kinds of stupid bills, irrational bills, and to start demanding more money for yourself, where you cannot give a common man with education $100,000. But your own benefit alone, is over 25 million. Who does that? And you want to enjoy that money while your fellow Nigerians are suffering? They cannot have 2 square meals. You are wicked, and you think God is going to just look at you and let it go down like that. No. I'm not pronouncing any judgment on you, but judgment will surely come. And when it comes, you will know it's as a result of the evil that you have all done. Half of you in that Senate and House of Representatives, yeah, you can't be there for more than 30 years. Add 30 years to your life, and then think of eternity that has no end, and see what will happen to you, to your posterity, after you have gone. Rich people in Nigeria, you are not suffering, but you have no voice. You have money, you have position, but you have no voice. You are a slave. You cannot speak your truth to power. It's a damn shame. And you know yourself. I don't have to call you. You know who you are. You are billionaires and millionaires. And people around you, even your circle of influence, you cannot synthesize anything. You cannot originate anything except to make more money at the expense of the common man. And you want to enjoy it. Keep on enjoying it. If I do not add anything to it, all I know is that you're not taking one out of it. You're not taking a penny out of this world. There's no light. There's no water, no good road. Yet, everybody knows how you treat one person out of 220 million. Mr. Dangote. Everything that is importable, you gave Dangote. At least I understood that ex-president Obasanjo did that. Dangote has monopoly on almost every commodity. One man out of 200 million, and you want the country, no competition. He has monopoly on sugar, on rice, on this, on that, because he's a Fulani. What you allowed Dangote to do, you will not allow any other extraction to do it in Nigeria. He has a refinery. The whole country, with over 200 million people, cannot come up with a refinery. But Dangote made that impossible. But when you have people that speak against your regime, your administration, we have people that speak. People speak. But rather than you listening, you prefer to shut them down. Showore is there. It's probably one of the organizers. Yesufu is there, Miss Yesufu. Everybody knew that she makes a statement clear that you do not have a good administration. Have you called people like that to even ask them? But it seems like, as far as you are concerned, you don't give a crap about anything they have to say. They don't matter. But your daughter, whom the Nigerian electorate and citizens did not appoint, has the audacity to go out and tell Nigerians that they cannot protest. Intimidating them, because that's not an advice. She went to the market women to tell them, to tell their children not to come out, depriving them of the fundamental human right. Your daughter, Nigeria also elected your daughter, Mrs. Folashade Ojo. Did they elect her? But she has impunity because she's your daughter. And she knows that whoever wants to challenge her, her father, security apparatus is there to deal with them. Is that how to run a country? You are doing all this because you believe you have the power to silence people. How long can you do that for? One day, you are going to leave that throne, that presidential throne. You and your children are going to be like every one of us, ordinary citizens of Nigeria. And yes, you will have the money. And probably the thugs, the goons that are working, they will still be there because you still have crumbs to dole out to them. But it's a damn shame that as president of a country of 200 million, only you, your family, and your ass lickers are enjoying the booty in the country. Good for you. These same people that you thought are they have allegiance to you, they'll be the one to sink you because they don't really like you. But they don't want to lose their job and the benefits that is accruing from kissing your ass. They will tell you anything to make you happy and to keep on receiving what they're getting from you. I'm not going to say too much, but I'm sensitizing the people that are kissing your ass and coming out for this rally that you're supposed to sit back and watch and talk with your cabinet what you need to do. Thank God I've seen some of the things that they say you are putting in place. But does it have to get to this stage before you do it? Does it have to get here to the point where the youth are ready to even die before you start appropriating and doing what is necessary? But you have the clerics. Pastor Tunde Bakari, I can see you. You came out during good luck administration that it wasn't working. Mr. Wike, you are doing the same thing. They've given you the minister of Abuja or federal character. You governors, you have no say. You cannot speak. All of you cannot speak your truth to power. Even our obas, you have silenced them, President Tinubu, with money. Money. You're all going to realize that money is not the end of it all. It's just a tool. Asari Dokubo. And you have even gone as far as using the traditional masquerade or oloro or whatever to intimidate people so that people will not come out. How low below the belt can you get, Mr. President? But I know that you will not leave any stone unturned when you want something. What money cannot do, more money will probably do it for you. And all of you are coming out on Onuga days. Even the press cannot talk to you directly, tell you exactly, except probably Shewan or Kimbaloye. And Rufai and Ayo. Dr. Abati, I'm not so impressed with you. You are biased too. And when I hear you talk, sometimes I feel like I could break my screen because you don't speak your truth to power. You have eaten with them. You have danced with them. And one leg is in, one leg is out. For those of you that are depriving the citizens of Nigeria for now not to go out, you are selling your soul individually and collectively to slavery. If the Fulani cabals want to do this, nobody can stop them. So why should you stop any other Nigerian that wants to indicate that they're not pleased with what they're seeing? There is no food, no security, and you do not address it, Mr. President, because in the Southwest, the elders carrying AK-47 are intimidating, they are killing, they are kidnapping, and you have not done anything about it. It's not that you don't know, but you don't give a crap. But you can make other votes available for inconsequential things. And you don't realize that when there is no security or safety anywhere, even if they bring you a caviar to eat, it will not go down well. That's what is happening. Nigerians should not be saying they are hungry. But when the farmers are not allowed to go into their farms to produce affordable foods, of course there will be hunger. There will be starvation. Nigerians are beginning to commit suicide. I've never heard that Nigerians can commit suicide because I thought they said we're the happiest people. But we are smiling and suffering. That's the dictum. And you are there. You're supposed to be a rich man. But you're a rich man without empathy. Without a good soul. And my Bible tells me, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and loses his soul? President Tinubu, yes, you can gain the whole world. You've gained the fame, you've gained the wealth, you have everything that any man could ever ask for. Bullion brings money to your house. You are the first person in Nigeria that I heard that bullion brought money to your house. I saw it. They didn't tell me. That's how much, that's how rich you are. But you have no sympathy. You have no empathy. You have no fear of God. Because if you should realize that one day, you are almost 90, and you think you're going to have another 90 days? No, it's not going to happen. It's not that I say so. I don't think anybody lives up to 180 these days. And you have not started to reflect what can happen. Unfortunately, one senator went to London. They've attempted his life here in Nigeria. But when he got to London, he died, unfortunately. One Mr. Ifeanyi, maybe Uba or something like that. Mr. President, do you know when the clarion call will call? You don't know. You only know when you were born. You don't know when you are going. And none of us knows the day or the hour. So, Mr. President, I want you to reflect. You have silenced almost the silentable. You have bribed all the bribables. The Obas have been bribed. They cannot talk. They're even coming out to say that they should give you time. Even a woman that is pregnant stays 9 months. This is your 13th month. What did you do 4 months ago before this rally or this protest was announced? What did you do? Immediately you came in, you knew what you wanted to do. You wanted to bribe all the bribables. And the first set of people that you wanted to bribe were the legislators, then the judiciary, then some of your ass leakers. You knew how to do that, but not provide security, general security for 200 million Nigerians. So you are able to provide for probably 1,000 or 2,000 ass leakers, those that are ready to do your bidding, that will not say any bad thing against your administration or even about you. But this is not about you. As far as I'm concerned, you are an administrator. As a president, you are supposed to be serving your people, but people are serving you. You legislators, you have become a doormat. You fought estates of the realm You have been silenced. Yes, you come out to talk, but what are you saying? Half of what you are saying is insignificant. You're just glossing over news, not actually bringing out the fundamental issues that is affecting that country. And yet, you're all claiming one Nigeria. That's the one Nigeria you all want to die for? I know you're all lying to yourself. You know Nigeria is not working. If it is working, I love Nigeria to the point that when everybody was asking me to stay back in America, I said, no, I'm going back home. I came home. I got a job in First Bank with a master's degree. I didn't get promoted probably twice in 10 years, every 5 years. Why those that kiss their asses, the ass of their bosses, get promoted every 18 months? I had to leave. That I'd rather be, the Bible says that it is good to be, it's better to be a doorkeeper in the house of God. So I came back to the United States, get a doctorate degree, and keep on working. And like I've said in one or two of my messages, I have had the opportunity to enjoy what I probably will never have been able to enjoy in Nigeria. Free medical. If you know the kind of illnesses I've had in the last 24 years, you will know that there's a great country called America. It is a great country. I have had cancer 3 times. Surgery 3 times. That is for the cancer. Before then, I've had 3 surgeries before I have a child. 3. And all these 6 surgeries, I have not paid 1 red cent. I'm getting a pocket money in America totaling 167,000 naira every month. My medications, if total together on a monthly basis, will amount to about 450,000 naira. And then I'm getting a pension. It gets there between the 1st and the 3rd day of the month. Over 1.848 million naira. And I didn't work full time. I wasn't killing myself because I couldn't even do that based on my health conditions. My pocket money is 167,000 naira every month. My pension is almost 2 million naira every month. I am poor, but I'm not suffering. Out of this money, I have people that I donate to. They might not be much. 5,000 naira here, 10,000 naira here. I do it on a monthly basis. I don't even know when they take it out of my account. It's a direct debit. I am collecting 15,000 naira in Nigeria, First Bank of Nigeria, as a pensioner. And in almost 11 months, they haven't paid it because they are not sure if I'm still alive. I am very much alive and thriving and enjoying myself to the glory of God, because the life that I have has been secured by the grace of God. If I've been in Nigeria, I will be no more, because Nigeria did not have the facility to take care of what is wrong with me, and I do not have the money to pay for it. The 15,000 as pension on a monthly basis, where will that leave me? On the street. So today, Nigerians, the reason why I spoke in English today is because I want all the facets, all the extractions in Nigeria to start thinking. Is that the Nigeria you all want to be in? It's working. It's working for some. Why? Because they have the power. They are in the ruling sector. It's working for the Fulanis. So they will not allow Nigeria to divide. But that's a lie. Nigeria will divide, whether we like it or not. It will divide because it took Israel 430 years of suffering to get under the clutch, under the bondage of the Egyptians. They left. Our so-called amalgamation was 1914. It expired 10 years ago, this past January. But I don't think we're going to spend another 10 years to leave that contraption called Nigeria. Yes, some of you will say, well, we just need to improve it. What has happened in the last 64 years since independence? The rest of the extractions are living like fourth-class citizens in Nigeria. Whatever the Fulani wants to do, they do it and they get away with it. Nobody has been challenging them, including Jagaban, president of Bodilon, president of Nigeria. You release Bodejo, President Tinubu, I want to remind you again. But here you are. The Fulanis are asking you not to release Nnamdi Kanu because they are afraid. And you are afraid of the Fulanis. The Fulanis are afraid of Nnamdi. But you're not afraid of God. You are not afraid of God. Because if you fear God, you will let justice dominate your spirit, your soul. But you have no fear of God, President Tinubu. You are not afraid. And that's because you don't believe that God can do anything to you. But wait and see. I thank God that you are married to a Christian. Ask her to tell you about Nebuchadnezzar. Ask her to tell you the story of King Saul. Maybe by the time you hear those two stories, you'll have a deep thought, deep reflection of what you are doing. And you will be able to change. Tell her to read you Ezekiel chapter 3, verses 18 to 21. Maybe if you hear what God says in that passage, it might touch your soul. I'm not recriminating you. I want you and the entire people in your administration, in the legislation, okay, in the legislature, in the judiciary, among the press, the obas, and other stakeholders that are afraid to speak their truth to power. I'm trying to sensitize them to speak their truth to power, to have the fear of God, and to stand for something and be counted for something. So that at the end of the day, when they leave the administration or their post or their seat, they will know they will have done their job. As a matter of fact, when I left First Bank after 10 years, I didn't think I left with 40,000 for 10 years. 40,000 naira. I don't think I had 40,000 naira. But when I got to America and they asked me to bring a testimony of letter of reference, you can ask Dr. Abudu. It was our HR staff department. Not that I even like the man, but it was our DG, Deputy General Manager, DGM, staff or human resources as we call it. When he sent my letter of reference, the only thing or the reason why I was given the job, and I know I was not qualified for the job, it was a pharmaceutical job. I was not a pharmacist at that time. Even as at now, I'm not a pharmacist. But I can talk. I can tell people about a particular product. We're supposed to be selling prescribe medications to doctors so I can talk to the doctors about the medication. The reference letter that I got after Dr. Abudu have said whatever he needs to say, he said, and there was no blemish in a record. I didn't steal. I could have used, as a review analyst in corporate finance, I could have used my pen to change statistics to favor clients so that they can give me 5 million, give me apartment in VCG, like some of my colleagues collected. I did not. I left Nigeria after 10 years with less than what I would call, give or take, maybe $500 for 10 years. But I'm proud that I can come back to America and get a job. With just one single statement, no blemish in my record. And I can walk back to Nigeria with my head held high. The pride that I have is that I served that country. I served First Bank meritoriously, selflessly, for 10 years without collecting a bribe. Go and ask all my clients. They will tell you when they need something on Friday, it's already on their tables on Wednesday. I'm glad that I can raise up my head and I'm building a legacy that my grandchildren, I'm a grandma, that my grandchildren will hear about me and they'll be proud that I have a grandmother. President Tinubu, are you leaving a legacy that will be worth telling to your descendants? Think about it. Yes, you're the president. But how good are your actions as a human entity? As a president, yes, you can make mistakes, but you as a person, do you have humanity? Do you subscribe to things of God? Or you just do things because you want to do them and you will not be accountable for them? Search your conscience. Search your soul. Reflect on what you're doing. Because one day, and I assure you one day, you will not be available. You will only be with your God. And that's what counts. So my fellow Yoruba people and other Nigerians in that environment, the rally, the protest is less than 24 hours. I want to admonish you, go out as civilized people. No breaking of anybody or properties that do not belong to you. No carrying of guns, because let me tell you, these people are the hoodlums. They are going to allow their hoodlums to infiltrate. I know them. That's why they kept saying that what you want to do is you want to cause mayhem. They know you don't want to cause mayhem, but they are going to bring the mayhem. Because their goons and the hooligans that work for them is waiting. President Tinubu has sent out over 6 billion to bribe all the bribables. I saw them giving money out to people that lined up to go out and say that they are not part of the protest. Is that a democracy? Have you ever seen President Biden with all the acrimony going on in America? Even with the acrimony against Trump, did you see Trump donating money to anybody to shut them down? What is happening in Nigeria? I say good luck to you, President Tinubu. But know that one day you will tell your story. So my fellow humans in Nigeria, go out. Though you might be walking through the shadow of death, fear no evil, because the Lord will be with you. And that's my last statement. God will be with you. Because even we're in the last days anyway, a lot is happening. Not only in Nigeria, but all over the world. But God, my God, the only one of Israel, has the last say. So thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, my fellow Yoruba people. Yoruba nation is going to stand. I am sure of that. So thank you. And you have a wonderful, wonderful protest. Bye-bye.